Hello, this is Sheshachalam from Astroguide Mysore. Today, let us take up a topic which is a little abstract, important, very important actually, and as on date is a subject of interest in medical astrology. Today, I am discussing about planetary effect on individually. I am going to talk. I am not going to talk about combinations immediately. If at all examples have to be given, then I will talk about the combinations. I am going to talk about planetary effect on fertility. Very important topic when we think about medical astrology and how the planets, influence the house of progeny on the ovaries in a female chart or on the testicles in the male chart. How actually they bear an effect, and how actually the effect is either whether long standing, whether it is a chronic problem, it needs medication, or can be remedial measures like exercises, yoga, pranayama can solve it, or the native has to go ahead for some type of surgery. So we need to see a lot of things in this. So let us go planet by planet. We all know, as per the thumb rules, that is the regular thumb rules, that we all know that Sun gives Ekaputra Yoga. I have not done that yoga, but still I am just telling you. Sun is the Lord of Leo, which actually from the Kalapurusha Lagna, Kalapurusha's Lagna is Mesha, 0 degree Aries. So from 0 degree Aries, if I take, then the fifth house will fall in 0 degree, that is 0.1, let us say. When I talk 0 degree, people will immediately cut open from Cancer and Leo. They will tell that there is zero, sir, nothing in between. There is nothing like that. You don't get a space which is not either in Leo or in Cancer. It will be either in Cancer or Leo only. So this midpoint of the fifth house falls in Leo. So for the Kalapurusha, so what happens is the fifth lord, Sun, becomes the planet which gets the natural Karakatva signification of being the fifth lord, and hence the natural signification of giving children. But because this planet generates a lot of heat and a lot of light, a lot of consciousness, so here light and consciousness is not of any importance for us, because even an unconscious person, in the sense that he is not thinking about having children or not, children can happen depending on whether he is fertile and whether his wife is fertile, or she has the Leo Sun in the fifth house. The point here is about the heat what Sun generates. Sun actually burns the house which it is placed in. So burns in the sense that you can also understand that it cleanses, it cleans, it purifies to such an extent that the native will have very less progeny. So why is this less progeny going to happen? If Sun is there, it should keep on giving progeny, because as the Kalapurusha, it is the fifth lord from the Kalapurusha. But no, Sun has its innate qualities where it will usually not promote children to the native. So what actually it does, it will promise one, maximum two children, but being in the fifth house unafflicted for a native, the fertility will come down, no doubt about it. The fertility in the sense that now again there is another doubt in this. People might keep asking that male planet it is. Sun is a male planet, and whether a male planet sitting in the fifth house, that is the odd sign, is a very good thing for a male chart. Exactly, and that is why Ekaputra Yoga. Or else if it was sitting in an even sign, Sun starts losing its strength. Only in the 10th house does the strength of Sun builds up and give a lot of Digbala and all other positional strength. But usually sun is uh, going to trouble in the fifth house and the seventh house. The seventh house is of not of much importance as on date, as on today, because we are not talking about relationships. But fifth house, because we are talking about progeny. Now, immediately when I tell, now the classes have come in such a level that I can take up the divisional charts also. So when I tell progeny and fertility, the D7 chart comes into play. So the D7 is the Saptamsha. So Saptamamsha or Saptamsha, people call both the names. So Sun placed in the ascendant of the Saptamsha or the fifth house of the Saptamsha, it plays a very important role in limiting the number of children. So that is very important. Next, let us go to Moon. Moon is a planet which actually represents water. Now, Sun represented fire, that's why it burned, it's full of heat. Moon represents water, and water is the first most important factor for life, fertility. Now, people can ask me then what is the role of Sun? Sun is having the role of fusing the male and the female reproductive parts, like that the reproductive agents, that is, one is the spermatozoa, the other one is the ova. The both have to fuse, and the conceiving, that's the conception, has to happen. And for this conception, sun has to give the energy, the strength. So sun is important for conception. That's all, its work is done. Once after the conception, the work is done. Then comes the role of moon, which actually starts giving cell division and building up the mass. So, moon, which represents water, samudra, or even pure drinking water, is also represented by the sun's light. You know, so it's a luminary, but not by self illumination, but it is illuminated because of sun's light, and it reflects back to earth. Moon is more cooler, and it is very conducive. You cannot see sun up in the afternoon with bare eyes. Your eyes, your cornea or the retina gets burnt. The lens, that's usually the cornea gets burnt. So we can see moon happily, how much ever, and you feel good also when you see moon. A beautiful full moon day. If you see the moon, you will really, anybody will have a pleasant, and the evening becomes romantic. That's what we tell. That's why nobody has a dinner in open bright afternoon sun, and you can't take your girlfriend there in mid of the day and tell that I'm proposing you. She'll tell that you could have chosen an evening for us. You don't have to choose a hot midday. And why is that? Because moon gives you that emotional upliftment. It enhances your emotional level, and it gives you that flow of beautiful thoughts, romantic thoughts, poetical thoughts. So now these are the factors for moon for the emotional level. But what is the factor for fertility? The topic is on fertility. I'll keep hovering around and then come back to it. Moon is the fluid which is very important for the semen to, seminal fluid, for in which the sperms keep swimming around and then they start charging towards conception. So if the fluid is less, and if it is dried up or it is scanty, fertility is very less. So moon plays a very important role in both the girl's chart and the boy's chart, because if the fetus, not the fetus, the fetus will happen afterwards. The egg has to burst open from the follicle and then get sucked into the femori and then go into the tube. Then the mucus here in the tube should not obstruct. So this obstruction of the tubes will happen if there is Saturn Rahu, which actually trouble the conception. Rahu, the dark planet, and Saturn, the planet for chronic delay in having children are two major negative planets which actually stop conception. So the fertility also will either increase or decrease in a person depending on where moon is placed and how good moon is placed. People keep asking me what is good and bad placements. I'll tell you one here. If moon is placed in Taurus and if moon is placed in the fifth house, in the seventh house, or somehow associated with the ascendant lord, then yes, moon is very strong with regard to fertility. And also when moon is having good yogas like Chandramangala yoga, Gajakesari yoga, these are good yogas for fertility. Not Chandra Saturn yoga, Chandra Rahu yoga. This is not good for fertility. Okay, let us move on to the next planet, which is Mars. Mars gives the agility, the strength, the force to, the richness. All these things come because of Mars. Potency, what we call. The fertility is different and potency is different. If Mars becomes weak, a masculine planet, Mars becomes weak, then the potency might turn into becoming impotency. So you should understand, if Mars is weak, Mercury is strong, Saturn is strong in the chart, and other male planets like Sun are all sleeping, dozing, then we tell that the chart is tending towards more becoming a feminine or a femininity. That's the quality of the chart. Reverse, if Mars is extremely strong with the Sun in a female chart, we can see that the masculinity in the chart increases, that the native has these characters, which is more. That is the testosterone or the estrogen. These levels keep changing. This is where the life is molded. Everything is hormones. You can read some books which are focused on this particular thing, that what we are is because of the dance of hormones. So, Mars gives the strength to the spermatozoa to swim through and go through, for a sperm to go through even 5 inches or 6 inches and then take a curve and go into the tube is like swimming miles together. It's like swimming a light year because it's an invisible thing to the eye and it is swimming such a big distance and it takes a lot of time for it to go there, and the fluid has to be good, it has to serve the purpose, and the strength in the sperm has to be strong to swim across. If it doesn't have the strength, then it will go to such a certain distance and then die, perish. So that's where the potency of the male is seen. That is also one of the important topics for important points for fertility, checking fertility. In the female thing also, the egg has to be ready to accept the sperm. It has to be active and it has to live for a longer period. It is not that the egg, the follicule, the follicle bursted and the eggs have transported from both the sides of the ovaries, two ovary sacs will be there, and it has transported and it has come to some place in the tube. But the life of that egg in the tube is only for 5 days. Then what is the use? The egg has to live for the period so that it will have a larger period for conception. So the egg has to be a healthy and a strong egg. So Mars is strong, fertility is strong in any person. So let us go from Mars to Jupiter. Sorry, Mercury. Mercury is an active planet and it shows the activity of the the sperm or the ova. Here, particularly in the male, the points where we regard the activity of these sperms, we can see when you see the report, we can see when you see the report of sperm count or anything like that, then you can see this healthy report when you can see healthy sperms. But if you see that there are some headless, damaged, like you know we call it as handicaps, like tailless, headless, they can't swim anymore, half dead. If this is more there and the pus cells are more there, there's some infection, then we do not, the doctors do not recommend that to be a healthy count. They will deduct and then tell that the fertility is very less. So this is very clearly seen from two planets. That is, one is Mercury, the other one is Venus. Both these planets will show the health of the sperms. The health of the egg is seen by Venus. The health of the sperms is to be seen from Mercury. So if both these planets are well placed, because usually Mercury gives Napumsaka Yoga, that is, it is a dualistic planet because that is the only planet other than Jupiter which has dualistic houses, that is Vrishabha Rashis. So it is the lord of Vrishabha Rashi. So, and also if you see, Mithuna means two people, that is twins, dualistic once again, and Virgo is a virgin. So the fertility is there, but it is so pure that it does not want to go ahead and get into the conception level. So it's very young and what we call as immature. So the immaturity of this particular process will again bring infertility. So that is why Mercury has to be well protected in a chart. If Mercury is bad and ill placed in the fifth house, let us say with a retro Saturn, the person will suffer from different types of disability or difficulty. In a male, there will be many difficulties, like one of the main thing is impotency, the other one is that he is not having the strength to even perform, and the same thing in the female is that she would reject, she would not want to get married at all because of the fear that something wrong would happen and she would be rejected. So the inferiority complex will increase a lot if Mercury and Saturn are ill placed in the fifth house. So let us go to the planet Jupiter. Jupiter is the only planet which is neutral with regard to progeny, fertility. Why? It is the Karaka for progeny, Putra Karaka. So, Putra Karaka in the sense that it is the Karaka for Santana, Santana Karaka, and it does not increase or decrease fertility, but the children, they are happening, that is the conceiving, after conceiving, whether you will have a kid, whether the kid is born, is a decent pregnancy and goes through good parenthood, that is decided by Jupiter, and that's a different subject. But altogether, the fertility of a person doesn't have to be judged with by Jupiter. Jupiter is neutral. The other three planets, Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu, are deadly planets with regard to fertility. The one, Saturn, creates a lot of delay, and this delay can be attributed to many factors. The most important factor of this delay is this because of the obstruction and also because of the meager count, sperm count. And today we can see that the stress levels are so high, which are created because of Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu, that a person's sedentary lifestyle, he sits in one place continuously for the whole day, very less physical activity. So problem for the counts are coming down. Not many days in the internet. I've just 2 3 days back I have seen a news where actually that actually prompted me to talk about this subject, which is a tough subject because I am talking things which people don't usually talk. But you need to talk. If you don't talk, you will not learn. And if you don't learn and if you don't discuss, you will not be having the strength to go into and do research. And if you don't do research, then who will do it? Astrologers have to do it. So I just saw the subject over internet where some survey has been conducted, and very clearly the report suggested that the India's the sperm count has fallen down. The fertility level has crashed. So usually the count has to be a minimum of 60 million per cc or what is cubic centimeter, but or I don't know, milli or what, I don't know it is. I'm not that very clear about it, but it's 60 million. I have seen that number. That is the range. This is the minimum range, and if it is above that, nowadays people call that a man is fertile and he is capable of having children without any assisted medical, assistance. But earlier days, the doctors themselves, senior doctors who have been into the pathological thing, fraternity from past many years, like let's say 50 years, 60 years into that particular thing, people who are 70, 75, when I spoke to them, they told me that earlier days when we did the sperm counts, we were getting at least 1.2 lakhs, that is 120 million, not 60 million, 120 million. So they were 60 million, it was 120 million, not 1.2 lakhs, 120 million. So it was double and it has come down by half, and now people are saying that in the report that it has come down to 45 or 43 or 40 in some urban levels. The village is still much, villagers are still more fertile in India and many other countries also. That is because of their, they are in open space, they have good air to breathe, they have good water to drink. The only difficulty they have is they do not have the nutrition, good nutrition to eat. It's difficult, but still, with all that, the fertility level in the village is much better when compared to the cities, because cities sedentary lifestyle, too much of pressure over earning and spending. Always the calculator keeps running in the mind. The Rahu and the Ketu, I have spoken till Saturn here. The Rahu and the Ketu are nothing but they keep pumping toxins inside the body. Ketu pumps a lot of toxins, Rahu pumps a lot of impurities, the bacteria, the viruses, the toxins which can cause cancerous, carcinogenic toxins. All this gets pumped into the body because of Ketu and Rahu. Rahu and Ketu don't do it themselves. We ourselves do it. We start, eating things and drinking things, and our practices like smoking, chewing tobacco, chewing gutka, smoking all illegal, reed, weed, or whatever. I don't know what it is. So grass, they call these things. These are the names which I have studied in some of the internet pages. So this drops. This actually kills the fertility. Alcohol kills fertility after even 1 month of usage. Continuously 1 month, if somebody starts drinking, the fertility simply goes down along with health. Health also goes to dogs. So think about the tobacco, think about the smoking. The whole world is continuously into this from many years. I don't know where suddenly they have fallen prey to, but still this is a very important subject, and people don't understand that if on a particular day it will suddenly, you will understand after 20 years that you can see that the whole city is slowly, becoming only old. There are no young children there playing around. That's because most of the couples will never have children anymore. If this is the case, then we need to immediately take this as a warning and eat well, do our physical exercises. If we don't do this, we are going to pass the same genetical, pattern to our children, and our children will become impotent or our children will become infertile. Who wants all this nonsense? So, if our children have to be fertile, not only in our brain but also in our body, to have good progeny and the sustenance of life, human life, which anyway I personally don't want it. I want this planet to be half empty from human beings. We are crowding the planet. If you ask me personally, I don't. I would wish that the planet would be more cleaner from human beings. We are too many people. We have become like parasites and dandruff on Earth. The earth is scratching itself. You have seen the earthquake which happened recently in the Myanmar, very tip edge of Tripura and Myanmar. So it just happened. It's just what we call as a hint for further disasters. These are all human disasters only. What are the heat, the global warming is creating a lot of problem. And anyway, that will wipe out some population. Again, we will again we'll keep growing if provided our fertility is maintained, or else we will become our own cause. We will be the cause for our elimination of human race from earth. In a few more years, we are already seeing that in urban population, that out of 10 couples, 3 do not have children. The other 3 have children but with genetical disorders. The other 4 are having good, fertile children. So that means the percentage is something like around 40 now, with good genetical pattern or makeup. So the 60% there is some difficulty already. It's a huge difficulty which the society is facing, and this is time for us to study astrology in a deeper level in medical astrology to understand the repercussions of this particular problem. So I think I have touched the surface of this particular topic. This was a very tough topic for me to discuss today, but still I have tried to put across something. So hope to take it up with single planets with charts. With every single planet, I would want to do deliberate, go in depth in medical astrology when I open the chapter of medical astrology in detail. So thank you very much for today's class.